Does your zoysia lawn look like this? Full of weeds, Poa Annua, broadleaf weeds? Well, today we're going to talk about it. You're watching Native Zoysia. Welcome back to a new year and a new lawn for me. We just moved in about a week and a half ago. I have cut the grass one time and got some news. Luckily, keeping up the zoysia theme, I have zoysia grass in the front yard, and it looks like just plain weeds everywhere else. This property here is 6 acres with only about 8,000 square feet of zoysia grass. I do plan on putting my plots in the back, and I'm hoping that they'll consist of El Toro and Zenith zoysias, Bermuda, it's Monaco Bermuda, and I'm considering doing a St. Augustine plot. Never grown that before. When starting with a property of this size and you're moving in for the first time, you're like, where do I begin? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, the first thing I did was the grass needed to be cut. It was like 10 inches tall of pure, wet, broadleaf, like henbit, and everything else mixed in. But the very first thing that I want to do outside of that, which I've actually started yesterday, is spraying flower beds. I have weeds around every tree, weeds everywhere, no defined beds. I'm not real concerned about that. I'm just concerned about the weeds everywhere. Going back to the zoysia lawn, which is behind me, I did a pre-scalp on it. If you don't know what a pre-scalp is where you cut some or most of the top growth off. It's not a full scalp. I plan on doing a full scalp maybe in a couple weeks. I think we've got one more night in the mid 30s. I want to get beyond that before we do a full scalp. But you can see behind me, this lawn is starting to green up very nicely, but we are dealing with some weed problems in it. There's broadleaf weed and there's Poa Annua. And the way I'm going to combat the Poa and the broadleaf together is a combination of herbicides. This is a busy road. I went with Negate. It's $55 an acre. An ounce and a half will cover an acre. And also Carfentrazone. It also goes by the name of Quicksilver, but Carfentrazone is the active ingredient, and we can apply that at 1 to 2 ounces per acre, so that bottle goes a long way. Now, that was an expensive one. On the market you can find an 8 ounce, you can buy a 16 ounce bottle for about 150 bucks, but imagine how much you get out of it. Now, this combination of herbicides is going to kill everything that's green right now, being all your broadleaf weeds, your onion, garlic, and your Poa Annua ryegrass and cool season grasses. We're going to mix that up with a methylated seed oil as our adjuvant. I'm going to be spraying this in a couple of days. I'll try to get some footage of it and go from there. In the meantime, I'd like to show you around the farm. Over in the front yard, dealing with a home that was built in 1885. Part of the back was put in around 1950. So it's an old home. Old homes have old problems. But if you look right behind me, you can see large crepe myrtles that definitely need to be trimmed up and sprayed. And this is what my flower beds look like. You see all those weeds in them. I mean, even up against the house, tons of weeds. But luckily I got a nice garage over here and a barn. Let's take a look at some of the fruit trees. All right, here we are at the back of the home. See, this lower part was built in like 1950. The original structure, the 2-story structure, was built around 1885. Love this home. We plan on doing a remodel on maybe the master bathroom, and there's a room behind it that's like a nursery. Hopefully combining those together and having a nice master suite, I would I guess you would say. Anyway, here we are right here in the backyard. You can see I do have tons of shade in areas. A couple mature oak trees on that side of the house. A mature oak tree right next to the carport. A couple big magnolias. A couple humongous crepe myrtles that need some attention. But what I liked about this property is right there is an apple tree, a couple pecan trees, there's a fruiting pear tree, and of course there's a Bradford pear, which only looks good but it smells like fish, and there's a big Scuppernong grapevine out here. Back to the lawn. Let me see if I can get you a shot closer up. But right here behind me, this was an old light pole. They had the light taken out and the guy didn't like the pole, so he cut it down with a chainsaw. But this area right here at the pole, going straight back maybe 100 feet. Actually, it's going to be, 100, 150 feet. Going to get that Harley raked or power raked, and we're going to get our plots started so we can do some plugging hopefully by July. This is what the entire 6 acres looks like. It is nothing but broadleaf weeds. And it goes almost to that house right there. Tons and tons of weeds with not a lot of Bermuda in it. I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it might be bad. So there's tons and tons of weeds out here that need to be addressed. If I was in February, I would have applied the Shore Guard and the glyphosate combination out here, and it would have destroyed the entire place. And that way, when the Bermuda comes out of dormancy, it would have nothing to compete with, and it would be able to spread. Now, before I moved in, I was able to pull a soil sample. And let's go over these soil analysis here and talk about what we need to do this year, and hopefully break it down to where you understand how you need to amend your soil according to the analysis. Here you can see a simple bar graph. Everything is out of range and extremely low, including the pH. We'll talk more about this in the next slide. This is the raw data that shows you the results in parts per million. You can tell everything is very low. Some of it is critically low. We will need to amend our phosphorus, potassium, micronutrients, and our pH. We shall amend our pH by adding lime, about 40 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Check out what I've been doing to the grapevine. I think this thing has been neglected for years and has not been ever trimmed. I've got so much material off of it. But today I'm bringing you our application of Negate and Quicksilver in order to basically kill everything that is green right now except for zoysia grass and Bermuda grass. We don't have any other warm season weeds popping up yet. So this mix is going to kill Poa Annua, cool season grasses, and all your broadleaf weeds. This Carfentrazone is added to the mix as a kicker. That means it helps the Negate. It will help burn these broadleaf weeds down faster and get better efficacy out of it. Now, one thing you really need to consider that is important when you mix Negate, it is 2 different herbicides. When you mix that one little bottle of granules, you must mix the entire bottle at one time. Now that one bottle covers 1 acre. You cannot split that bottle up, mix half of it now and half of it later, because of 2 different chemicals in it, 2 different herbicides that one may settle toward the bottom faster than the other. So your dosage may have higher quantities of one herbicide versus the other, and it can really mess your lawn up. So I have my tripod in the garage somewhere in a box. I can't find it, so I'm not going to be able to show you what I'm doing today. But don't forget your PPE anytime you're applying anything to the lawn. Read that label, because it is really there for a purpose. Now, Negate and Carfentrazone are both labeled with shoes, socks, long sleeves, long pants, and rubber gloves. So I will be donning those today. And don't forget, when you get done, you should always wash your hands and wash your PPE clothes or whatever it was you were wearing separately from your other laundry. I'll bring you an update shortly. Now remember, the cooler it is outside, the slower this herbicide combination works. The warmer it is, the faster it works. Now we are going to probably experience some chlorosis in the lawn due to this application. And chlorosis means yellowing of your desirable grass. That is expected, though it may not happen on certain cultivars. It's a trial and error. I'm not real worried about it in this application because I have not yet done my scalp. I will apply this, wait another week or two, then I will do my scalp, and at that time I'll probably go ahead and aerate my lawn, core aerate. I'm going to apply a liquid aeration because I have it and I like it, and I'm going to apply my lime to raise my pH. So that's where we stand this week. Stay tuned for the next episode where we get into the results and you can see what I'm going to be doing next.